There's Mayor Butler. Whew.
It's nice to see you all here. Did everybody enjoy the parade? Well, that being the case, we'll probably do it again next year. My name is Don Laxton. I'm the parade committee chairman. And I have to note that I think Pat Fletcher is smiling down on us. For those of you who remember Pat.
Thank you.
Sergeant at Arms. Assemble the details to present the colors.
Detail assembled, sir.
I work for the Navy.
That's good.
You know that.
We will have the Pledge of Allegiance by Timothy Grooms, Eagle Scout candidate, assisted by Cub Scout Pack 293. You would please.
And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Tracy Dubuque will now sing the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
And author of peace. We are ever mindful of the cost paid for the liberty we possess. We ask you to bless the members of our armed forces. Give them courage, hope, and strength. May they ever experience your firm support, gentle love, and compassionate healing. Be their power and protector, leading them from darkness to light. To you be all glory, honor, and praise, now and forever. Amen.
Morning is by Patricia Butler, Mayor of the Village of Camillus. Mayor Butler?
They did the music. Remember?
Good morning, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, children, welcome to today's ceremony, and thank you for attending. I'm honored to be speaking with you today on such an important occasion. We're here today to honor our service members and to remember their sacrifices. We're here today to honor our heroes, to remember their achievements, their courage, and their dedication, and to say thank you for their sacrifices. Thinking of the heroes who join us in this group today, and those who are here only in spirit. A person can't help but feel awed by the enormity of what we encounter. We stand in the midst of patriots and families and friends of those who have nobly served. I'd like to ask the service members and veterans who are able to just please stand and be recognized. Thank you. You may be seated. The service members we honor today come from all walks of life, but they shared several fundamental qualities. They possessed courage, pride, determination, selflessness, dedication to duty, and integrity. All the qualities needed to serve a cause larger than oneself. Today, people throughout the county and the country will gather together to remember, to honor, and to pay gratitude to those who have served our country. Our gathering is just one small spark of the flame. Its pride burns across the nation today and every day. It's not a lot, but it's one small way that we can honor those who have made the ultimate sacrifice so that we can live in freedom. Your presence here today and that of the people gathering all across America is a tribute to those lost troops and to their families. It's a way to say we remember. Thank you for attending. God bless you and your family. God bless our troops, and God bless America.
Thank you, Mayor. To introduce our honored guests, we have Mary Ann Coogan, Supervisor, comments.
John Smith. The parade is in honor of them today. Mr. Smith, will you like to speak? His dad was a long fixture of this parade. Thank you both for being here. We also have Bass. He's the president of Honor Flight. Thank you so much for being here. Annie Eckert is around here somewhere. She is a member of the village board and does yeoman's work on this parade. So Annie, thank you wherever you are out there. On this side we have Paul Ignetto, the town's highway superintendent. John Petosa, the honorable judge. Eric Hammerly, first ward representative. Mike LaFleur, second ward representative. Steve James, the fourth ward. David Callahan, my deputy, and sixth ward councilman. The honorable judge, Mike Hanadak. John Trombetta, Mike Lachaki, Onondaga County Legislature, Mayor, and the pastor you've already met. Thank you all for coming today. And as the mayor said, Memorial Day is a tribute to those who gave the ultimate sacrifice. As you go about your day, please think of the families and of the soldiers who have lost their lives. God bless each of you, God bless each of them, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
Earlier in the morning, we did have a reading by Lieutenant Colonel Paul Jackson, who served as on his recruiting battalion of General John Logan's Memorial Day order. You might want to Google that sometime to read it. It's proclaimed in there Memorial Day, and it's what the day is. This parade is dedicated to an old friend, Donald Smith, who passed away last October. Smitty was a fixture in our community and a key member of the parade. Smitty, as most of you will recall, had driven our Gold Star parents in his classic green convertible at the end of the parade. Smitty moved to Camillus in 1955 from Columbia, South Carolina, and spent 32 years with the Camillus Postal Service. He also worked in mail services at Des Moines College. He was a proud veteran of the Korean War. Faith was very important to him as a member of the Community Tabernacle Church. He was actively involved for many years in Camillus Southwest baseball, and for a few years even after the PNC Stadium. He loved spending time with his family, enjoyed golfing, hunting, and fishing, and he was married for many years. Yes, Smitty, we thank you for your service to our country and to the Camillus.
Thank you. My name is Eric Smith. I'm Smitty's son. On behalf of my mother and my family, I just want to say thank you for honoring my father today on this day of remembrance. He surely would have been humbled by this recognition that you've all given him today, so thank you. My father loved being part of this Memorial Day parade for the past almost 40 years and considered it an honor and a privilege to drive the Gold Star Mothers almost annually in his convertible. And it was his small way to show his appreciation for those who died serving this great country. My father also loved this village and this town. He was raised in a children's home in South Carolina, as you've heard. And after serving the Navy during the Korean War, Camillus became his real first and his own home. And he never forgot that. It was where he raised his family that he loved. It's where he learned to be a loving, fun, and caring father. It's where he also lived a life of service, and his service included delivering the mail for over 30 years. You know, he had a strong faith in God, taught Sunday school here in town. He coached baseball for many years, and he made many lifelong friends along the way. And there were frequent times we would see him at his property on DeVoe Road, and the first thing he'd say as you pull into the driveway, "This is my slice of heaven." I truly think he believed that. Lastly, the last love he had was being a father and a grandfather. They say the most precious thing that a father can give to his children is his time, his attention, and his love. He hit that ball out of the park when it came to those three areas. And we were extremely blessed to have him in our lives for as long as we did. So thank you for remembering him today. May God bless you all.
Thanks, Eric. We do miss
Big pictures.
Ralph and Margaret Sims. Their service to this nation began in 1942 when Ralph enlisted in the Army, assigned to the Air Corps, and was trained as a B-17 bomber navigator. The first of his 32 missions flown was over Berlin. Ralph is the recipient of the Air Medal with 3 oak leaf clusters. He was also awarded the Distinguished Flying Cross. He was employed by Tass and Seymour Carrier Corporation as Chief of Security and Fire Protection. He also helped found the Camillus Historical Group and serves as town historian. Don't ever get him talking about Camillus unless you have a lot of them. And I always enjoy listening to Ralph. I learn something every time I talk. Margaret joined the Women's Army Corps and enlisted in the Army in March of 1943. She was stationed in Cairo, Egypt, worked in censorship. She also worked at Tass and Seymour, where she met her husband of 72 years. She's a chartered member of the Women's Memorial in Washington, D.C., and a member of the Historical Group. They have 4 children, 5 grandchildren, and 6 great-grandchildren. The Sims family history, as most know, harkens back to the very early days of the family. Most recently, they participated in Honor Flight Syracuse's mission number 5 in April, which took 65 area World War II and Korean War vets to Washington, D.C. to visit the nation's war monuments. With the theme of this year's parade, as a community, we remember. There are no finer representatives of this community for their wartime service, for their key roles on our national, historical, and community at large. We thank and congratulate them on a job well done.
Grand Marshals. It makes us feel a little humble about this, and I'm going to remember this, my wife Hales, for the rest of our lives. But the thing is this, I'm now 94, and so is my wife, so that we should be able to remember. Anyways, I have to make one slight correction on being introduced. I did work at Tass and Seymour for my whole life. I worked there for 3 years, but after the war, I went to work for Carrier Corporation, and that's where I became Chief of Security and Fire Protection, and I retired in 1982. For the last 20 years, I've been historian for Camillus Historical Society. So if you want to ask me a question, I'm sure I can find my way through. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Both World War II veterans. About 5 years ago, I first met our guest speaker at a Rotary luncheon. He was there to speak about a new group being formed in the area called Honor Flight. Rear Admiral John F. Paddock Jr. is a native of Central New York, whose family also harkens back to the early days of Camillus. He enlisted in the Navy Reserve in 1964 and earned his commission as ensign through the Navy Reserve Officer Candidate Program upon graduating from Syracuse University. He served on active duty for 14 continuous years with duty on board 5 combatant ships, a fleet oiler, minesweeper, destroyer, guided missile destroyer, and frigate. Leaving active duty and rejoining the Navy Reserve in 1980, Rear Admiral Paddock commanded various units. His active service periods included duty with the Chief of Naval Operations, Commander Naval Reserve Force, Commander-in-Chief U.S. Naval Forces Europe, Commander Naval Surface Force Atlantic, Commander U.S. Second Fleet, NATO Striking Fleet Atlantic, NATO Commander-in-Chief Eastern Atlantic, Naval War College, Commander-in-Chief U.S. Naval Forces Central Command, Commander 5th Fleet, and Commander-in-Chief U.S. European Command. He was Deputy Commander on a number of Joint Task Force exercises in Europe for Marine and Air Force Corps Joint Headquarters staff. And I've only touched on his accomplishments. On top of that, he's a nice guy. His personal awards and decorations are listed in your program, and they are numerous. He's a member of many professional and military associations and chaired the New York Naval Militia Retired Flag Officer Advisory Council for the Adjutant General of New York for 2007 and is past chair the New York Committee for Employer Support of the Guard and Reserve. He's an executive board member, Longhouse Council, Boy Scouts of America, chair of the Onondaga County Executive Veterans Service Advisory Board, and co-founder and vice president of Honor Flight Syracuse. Honor Flight is something you're going to continue to hear more and more about. It's an incredible program. Most recently, Onondaga County Veterans Council recognized him as 2014 Distinguished Veteran of the Year. Please take time to read his full biography. It's extremely impressive. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Admiral John Petty.
American Legion Post, the Veterans of Foreign Wars, for spearheading this wonderful Memorial Day ceremony and its activities, including, of course, the parade, and especially for the opportunity to speak at today's ceremony. It's truly an honor and a great privilege on this very special day. Just a digression, a couple points. Number one is on Honor Flight, we increased the size of the aircraft this year, and that's 65. We were flying 65 per mission. This year we flew 81 on Mission 5, which Ralph and Margaret participated in. So we upped the ante in there, operating out of Hancock. And one of the other things, of course, in this age is becoming increasingly difficult to understand the gobbledygook and the acronyms that are thrown around when you're talking about biographies and so forth. As a matter of fact, one of the little special projects we had was recruiting some current era veterans to interview people such as Ralph and Margaret so they understood the language. We used Army, Air Forces, Air Force veterans to interview them and others. So now we have engaged in a military biography project that should be of great interest to those with a bent for history, and especially your local historical society. And John Trombetta, Commander John Trombetta over here on the right, has been one of my Navy researchers, and we have others for Air Force, Army, and Marine Corps. Just a digression, but it's a great resource. Memorial Day, of course, is a day of remembrance for those who have died in our nation's service. It does provide an opportunity to express the special place they continue to have in our hearts and to reflect on the meaning of this day. In these ceremonies in cemeteries and parks, we come together to honor those who gave their all. We reflect on the service and sacrifice of our U.S. military men and women, past and present, and most especially those who have fallen. Well, the community comes together on Memorial Day. Each of us, day by day, in his or her own way, struggles individually throughout the year with what it all means. For we who have served in the military, we who have served, have been more fortunate than those we memorialize. One is influenced strongly by one's own life experiences. For me, the day calls to mind my family's past contributions, the concept of service, to one community and nation, indeed today, even to preserving our Western way of life and civilization. The shared camaraderie and an opportunity to renew connections. The continuing challenge of keeping faith when proportionately fewer serve to keep the much larger population from harm in a most turbulent world. On the family side, I'm inspired by my family, uncles and an aunt. One an Army Air Force ball turret gunner, and the only survivor of the B-17 bomber crew. Another a sailor, and my aunt, a cum laude grad from Syracuse University, who in the early days of World War II, having started his career, nevertheless left and enlisted to become one of the nation's very first to serve in the Women Marine Reserve. I'm inspired by those I've known and served with in the Navy and other services, several of whom lost their lives flying off carriers, lost at sea, or in other operations. In the Navy, the all too often real and constant threat is the ever-present, always changing weather,